What's up, Nova Heads? It's Amber Nova.
This is Chris Lights Out Lytle.
Hi, this is Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
Ice Boogie.
It's the real and raw August Artois.
This is Smiling Sam Alvey.
It's Archimedes.
I'm Jack Cartwheel, the real deal, the human highlight reel.
This is Steve Mowry.
I'm Victor Henry.
Floyd Bulletproof Trooper.
Billy Starks.
It's ECW Original, The Enforcer, C.W. Anderson.
This is Honest John.
Hyper Street.
I'm Luis Moreno. And
it's Mr. Classic.
And Santino Bros.
I'm Jason Punet.
The young ghost.
It's old Howdy Price here.
When I say what's my name, Snipes.
Richie Slade. My name is Gino Rivera, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia.
The incredible one, Anthony Idol.
This is Ken Shamrock.
The Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater.
Yo, watch and listen.
Championship online.
Podcast with
This is Alex Mars here. Hi, Richard Modest.
So, please listen to it, otherwise be cursed. Okay, see you later. Love that, Dennis.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're now watching and listening to Championship Online Podcast of your news channel. My name is Alex. This is my co-host Rich, and today is a very, very special episode here in Championship Online because we got a pro wrestler in the house who we have seen so many times, and we're a big fan of this person. I mean, you've seen him in so many companies such as EWF, GCW, Level Up, Epic Pro, Santino Bros Championship from Hollywood, even New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. You've seen him in so many places. He is also the current Santino Bros champion right here. Has a belt right there. And he's also one half of the Wolf Zaddies. Ladies and gentlemen, Latino Meat, Che Cabrera, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Latino Meat in the house.
Awesome. Hey, again, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast, man. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys reaching out. You know, you guys help out, you know, with interviewing us and all that stuff and putting it out there for viewers to see. So we appreciate you.
Oh, man, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to have you on. And before we start the interview out, there is a segment that we like to do. We ask 10 fun questions about yourself. Is that cool with you, sir?
Of course.
All right, Richard, take it away.
All right, we'll start. The first question, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, my God. Just one? Come on.
I'll give you a couple.
All right. For sure. I mean, Pulp Fiction is there. You know, for sure. That's Pulp Fiction. Back to the Future. I would say part 2. I mean, people like the original one better, but I always like sequels better for whatever reason. I just feel they're better sometimes. You know what I mean? Desperado's up there too with me for whatever reason, you know. Just those are some movies that if they're playing like on a TBS or something like that with commercials, I get stuck on them. And even though I own the movies, you know what I mean? I just get stuck watching them. So I would give you those 3 for sure right now.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Those are classics like you can never get tired of and you can see them anytime.
Exactly.
Awesome. Next, pretty similar. Do you have a favorite TV show of all time?
Seinfeld.
Oh,
yes!
Seinfeld. That's it.
Awesome.
I have all the seasons on DVD. Rewatched it all on Netflix, you know, and myself and Tyler Bateman always sending Seinfeld clips to each other, you know, on Instagram and stuff. So, you know, it's a good one. Are you guys fans of Curb Your Enthusiasm as well?
Yeah. I love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay.
Just the humor, it's kind of touchy, but it gets by. Like, just Larry David is a genius.
Yes, he's able to get away with stuff, you know.
Oh, yeah. That's so awesome. Alex and I were just talking about this like the last few days because he likes to bug me that Friends and Seinfeld have a big rivalry, and I'm a huge Seinfeld fan, so he always bugs me like, "Oh, Friends is a little better." I'm like, "No, Friends is not better."
No. I like Seinfeld. Friends is not bad, but you know,
it's not bad. It's not bad, but totally different. You know, totally different. You know, it's funny, but there's so much romance involved in Friends as well. You know, where Seinfeld is just again a show about nothing. You know, like, you know, so it's like way different. I don't think you could compare the two. Same era, same era,
Yeah,
but
same time.
you know what I mean? You know, it's just different.
Yeah, exactly. But the next question: do you have a favorite musician or band you like to listen to?
Rage Against the Machine was always my favorite band growing up and stuff like that. You know, back when I would do like how do you say, when I did my original like Che Guevara look, you know, with the beret and the cigar and stuff like that, it was which is funny because if we talk about that, it's like I knew nothing about the whole Cuba situation and all that. It was just a good look, you know. But I knew all of that because of Rage Against the Machine and like what they stood for and stuff like that. But then again, like it wasn't not for what they stood for made me a fan. It's just they had some hard, you know, hidden music which I love to listen to, you know. So Rage Against the Machine and single artist would be Eminem.
Awesome.
Cool.
Do you have like a favorite Eminem song or a favorite Rage song that never
Rage
gets old?
Against the Machine, Killing in the Name of, like that's like their, you know what I mean? And then Eminem, there's just like so many, but like I could listen to his original album, the Slim Shady LP, you know, from track 1 to the end without skipping. But I would say for sure maybe Role Model is one of my favorites.
Awesome. Well, the next question: do you have a favorite video game?
Video game, damn, that's hard. I mean, nowadays, video games are so time consuming, you know, with the stories and all that, you know, which I'm a big fan of, but it's just like I don't have that time, you know, to really invest anymore. But I would say growing up, I mean, come on, you know, I grew up in the 90s and like early 2000s. I would say for sure, you know, WWF No Mercy, you know, WrestleMania 2000, you know, GoldenEye. You know, I grew up on N64. You know, I grew up on Nintendo 64. You know, I know PlayStation later had like the better games, you know, like Shut Your Mouth. You know, Shut Your Mouth for sure is what made me get a PlayStation 2. You know, and like that story mode was like ridiculously like too good. You know.
It's also because I interview a lot of wrestlers, and they always say that game, the story mode and the stuff you can do, is just second to none, which is just awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome. But the next question: do you have a favorite meal?
Oh, a meal. Usually, you know, I have a weird diet of I just eat like red meat. I just eat like carnivore. I just eat meat. But that's like basic. You know what I mean? But if I were to have like a favorite meal, dang man, that's hard. That's hard. You know, that's very hard. A big, nice, juicy burger from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, or a big fat like, you know, pizza's always good. Pasta. You know, it's just so. It's very hard because I don't eat normal meals on the daily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, a nice steak with a nice big baked potato, you know, overly stuffed with sour cream, chives, you know, bacon, cheese, you know, butter, all that stuff.
Oh yeah. And that's just the classic, like it's always burgers, steak, and pizza. Like they can never do wrong, they never break your heart.
Exactly. Or a big nice fat burrito. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Awesome. With the next question, do you have a favorite sports team?
Dodgers. Baseball would be Dodgers. Football, kind of random, but I've been following them since like 2001, 2002 would be the Cleveland Browns. You know, for whatever reason. You know, I just remember that year I was in 8th grade and seeing them. That was the last time they had made the playoffs, and I was just like, oh, like I didn't have a football team during that time, you know, because we didn't have LA team. I was like, oh, I like their plain jerseys, their plain helmets, you know, very old school looking team. And I was like, oh, I think that's my team. And since like 01 till like 2 years ago or whatever, I had to wait forever for them to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? But I want to say growing up 90s, for whatever reason, the two teams were always Cowboys and 49ers. And I fell on the 49er wagon like when I was a kid. But from like 2001 and like to present is the Cleveland Browns. Basketball, I don't really watch. But again, in high school, I took a liking to the Boston Celtics. never cared about like the history of like Larry Bird or like Magic Johnson or whatever like that. But during the time when I was watching whatever, like in ninth grade or whatever, I just took a liking to the Celtics with the team they had, you know, with like Paul Pierce and like Antoine Walker. And like, again, but I don't watch, like, I'm not a big basketball guy, maybe until the playoffs, you know, or like at least the finals, you know. But other than that, you know, just like it would be Dodgers, obviously, where they break my heart every year, you know. And like Cleveland Browns, where it's like I don't have much expectations, but when they're doing good, it's like, oh hell yeah, you know what I mean,
right?
And then basketball is like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, those three for sure. And hockey, I guess the Kings, you know, you know.
Awesome. And Alex, I know you made Alex happy by saying the Celtics and the Dodgers. He's a big Celtics and Dodgers fan. Like you said, the Dodgers broke our heart this year.
Every year.
Every year.
I thought this year was going to be the year. I thought they were going to win this year.
I really did.
It's just, oh my God, we could go on and on, but it's just like when you look like just by this year example, right? Like you compared like their energy compare like to, let's say, the Phillies. They didn't have that fire. You know what I mean? They didn't have that fire. They're pretty much like every player on the Dodgers are like so good, you know, like they're too good to where like when they're not having success, it just gets to them. So they're just like not phoning it in, but they don't have that fire, you know, because they know they should be doing way better and they don't. And then you got people like Bryce Harper on the Phillies, like just fucking leading that fucking team with all crazy energy, you know?
No, that you said it best. I think a lot of fans were saying that you couldn't see the fire in them getting riled up during, you know, the middle innings. You just kind of see frustration. Like Mookie was swinging out left and right. You could just see
there was
the
no
anger
fight.
in them. No.
Yeah, no fight at all.
They knew they were wrong, but like just like nothing we could rally. We're that good, and we're just not doing well tonight.
Maybe next year.
Next, hopefully. So this next question, Alex loves it. If you're at 7-Eleven, you only could pick 5 items. What would those five items be?
Okay. The only reason why I step into 7-Eleven is literally for like snacks. Okay. So for sure, Dr. Pepper, 0 sugar. Some sort of like either sour Skittles or sour Rips, you know, a pack of gum, because, you know, you never know. You know, sometimes you fresh, sometimes you ain't. A gallon of water too, you never know. And let me see, and let's say some sort of protein bar.
Nice.
You know.
Awesome. Those are always the go-to. You need gum, you need water, something to snack on. Awesome. Well, the next question, outside of wrestling, what hobby do you like to do?
Oh, outside of wrestling. Okay. I mean, the basic is like, is the gym even a hobby? Like, I don't really think so. It's like something I have to do. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I love it. You know, I love changing my body up or whatever like that. But for the main purpose of like working out is obviously hobby, releasing stress, but also obviously for what I do in wrestling, you got to look, you know, good. But I would say hobby wise, I would say you guys have the same hobby in collecting figures and stuff like that. I would consider that a hobby, an expensive hobby at times. You know, but you know, I would say that's one of my hobbies is like for sure collecting and like putting my stuff up to display and stuff like that. But I'm not like you guys. I don't keep my stuff in boxes. I like to let them breathe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, just because, man, I like those boxes take up too much space.
They do.
You know?
They really do.
You know? But for sure, I would say collecting. That's a hobby for sure. You know, and the gym, I guess, if you want to consider that, you know. But yeah.
Nice.
You maybe collect like wrestling figures, or I see there's a ghost face right behind you.
There's a ghost face only because we still haven't changed it from freaking Halloween, but he's fine. You know, I got a little set right here of like Funkos right here and stuff like that. This is just the kitchen, and like right here, just right here. This is just my kitchen table,
Nice.
But for the most part, main things are like obviously WWE elites, mainly like the wrestlers that I grew up on, like the legends and stuff like that are legends now, maybe occasionally like not present era, like, from now, but like maybe like, a few years back, like nothing crazy, but like Marvel, DC, random NECA ones, like obviously the Ninja Turtle ones, the cartoon and the movie ones, and just a bunch of random stuff that pretty much I want to say, if I grew up on that, I want it. You know what I mean? If I grew up on that, my big mistake was figures are addicting within itself, but pops, I want to say, are even like more addicting. You know what I mean? Because it's like speaking of Seinfeld, it's like I can't just get Jerry. I need the whole damn cast. You know what I mean? And so on and so on. Others like, okay, do I need this person on other ones? Whatever. Maybe, maybe not. Do I need to complete the set? Not really. You know what I mean? But like sometimes it's like, damn it, like I need at least a few of my favorites from a show or a movie, etc. So I made that mistake, of switching or of doing both. I fell into that pop world, and like they're just so like they're easily affordable, but then when you're freaking going to the Funko store or finding random ones at Target or Walmart, it's like, oh, god damn it, they add up. You know what I mean? They do. But the cool thing now is like, I want to say post-COVID era a little bit, it's like figures were so hard to find. Like, now, like, I don't know if you guys know, like those the new WWE, the Legend line, they're like, all their freaking pegs are like stacked, to where I could easily hold off till, because they go on clearance, and I literally wait till they hit clearance 50% off, and I'll just be like, fuck it, I'd rather have it at 10 than 20, 22 or whatever, So,
Yeah, we feel, Alex and I were just hunting the other day when we saw like AEW was like half off, and we were getting frustrated because some stores do, some stores don't, but at least they have them.
Yeah. What I used to do is, the Target barcode on the peg, I used to take it out and like, just scan it like at the self-checkout. But like now that doesn't work. So I think they caught up. Because I'm sure I wasn't the only one, But also, speaking of like, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen that only at Target exclusive Sammy Guevara, the red gear. Like they're just stacked. You know what I mean? They're just stacked. So like, I haven't seen many AEW figures go on clearance, to be honest. But WWE, like every time the new Legends line or Elites, whatever, come out, it's like those are already hitting.
Oh yeah.
Because I waited on that 03 Kane, with the attitude, the Ruthless Aggression Monday Night Raw tag title. So like I waited on that one because I liked that gear, you know what I mean, that he always rocked, so
I have that one. Actually, I'm like staring at it. I have it over here. That's such an awesome figure.
I mean, patience is key, if you're able to hold on, but sometimes it's just like, damn it, like I don't know, if they're gonna, because you never know, so it's like, but you could go to so many different Targets or Walmarts, and like they're all different. They're all different. So
the exclusives too, the Target exclusives, the Walmart exclusives.
Yeah. And scalpers be getting those, because we'll pay.
Like it's especially in the COVID era, they were really taking advantage of it. I think
that's what I mean. Because like during COVID era, it was like you would only maybe see one. you know, and it was like, cool, that's the one I want. And it sucks because like I'm very anal with like if they got blemishes on them, you know, or whatever like that, you know. Like sometimes a little nail polish remover will take off if they have something on their nose or whatever like that, you know. But and then if you only find one, it's like, damn it, like I guess I'll just take it, you know. So
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, it's true. Alex and I always we look at the box. Sometimes like I think the workers don't realize when they're slicing the box, like the box cutter will barely nick it and kind of slice it, but it's not pierced, but you can see the line through it, and it drives me insane.
Well, because you guys obviously collect MOC, mint on card, you know, yeah. So for me, it's just like, oh, whatever, you know.
Is
so,
that
yeah,
and then
for
like
sure.
the distributing issues? Like Alex, right now, I think the new line, Legend is Warrior, AJ Styles, and Ken Shamrock, and we'll see like the Ken Shamrock, but we can't find AJ Styles or Warrior anywhere, which is like.
Oh, you've seen the Ken Shamrock already?
Yeah, my friend hooked it up and he found one for me, and then we found another one later on. So those should be out soon.
Yeah, they should. What the Shawn Michaels one is the other one, right?
Yeah, I know my friends saw the Shawn, but for some reason the Warrior and the AJ around our area, we can't find that one anywhere.
Well, I want to say like sometimes they only get like two, because they're the Survivor Series line one, which has like Warrior again. It has AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre, and Becky Lynch. I've only been seeing AJ and Becky, and I want the Drew just to have, you know, like an old school Drew, because I was a fan of like his song and like that, you know, like I like Drew now, but like I didn't mind him like when he first came up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also because I want to build the Rick Rude, the DX Rick Rude, you know, he had the suit, the beard, the briefcase, you know.
Yeah, that one's sweet. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they got the Royal Rumble ones coming out where you could build Doc Hendricks. So it's like, damn it, man. Like, I don't want all the figures, but I need them just to build.
you have to get that one figure.
But the cool thing is, like, if you slice it nice, just take out what you need. And if you don't want the figure, people will buy it off of you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many
100%.
custom makers and all that.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
You know?
It's an addiction.
It really is.
A good one, I guess.
Yeah.
I tell my friend, like, pretty much at this point, Target, eBay, Funko, all those companies take my money at this point. Like,
oh yeah.
And Funko is just ridiculous. I remember, like, what you said was perfect. Once you get, my friend's like, I'm going to warn you, once you get in the Funko world, like, you're going to have a bunch of pops. You're going to have like 50 to 100 of them. Your money's going to be invested. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. I end up having almost close to 100. I had to get rid of at least half of them because I had no room for them anymore.
You kept those in box too?
Yeah, that's the thing. I kept the whole box.
but also it's like you could charge more if you're like selling them. You know what I mean? Because they're made on card, whatever. The person who buys them can do whatever the hell they want to do with it. But you know, if you keep even loose, depending how rare it is, like they'll pay. You know, but you know, and if it's in great condition, you know, so
100%. That's awesome. I love that you collect figures. We always ask wrestlers, some do, some don't, and we could talk about
I want to say
awesome.
I want to say the majority do. Like me and Tito, we collect. Like it's bad, you know. Sometimes it's like, oh, we'll oh, hey, I need that one. And then he goes, all right, cool. Just, you know, spot me later or whatever like that. Because I see them all the time. So it's like we get each other stuff if we need it, you know?
That's awesome. That's cool, man. What's the next question? Before a match, do you have any pre-match rituals you like to do?
Rituals? I mean, just besides the norm of trying to get as pumped as I could, you know, with my bands, as much hot stuff as I can, you know, and pretty much just water spray, you know, all that stuff like that. I would say the only thing is make sure I have gum, just because it's become a habit now to where like I feel like I need my gum now. If it gets lost during the match, whatever. But as long as I'm already have it, I'm good. And I would say I spray a little bit of water in my mouth just so I could spit it out, just because just some days are good where like I'm not dehydrated, and I always have that mental block of where like I don't want cotton mouth, because then that's gonna suck out there. You know what I mean? So rituals, not really, just besides the normal ones of getting pumped up, spraying myself and wetting myself,
Nice. Awesome. Last but not least, the last question. I love this question. If you could have a match with someone who isn't a wrestler, who would it be? It could be an athlete, a celebrity, a fictional character from a movie, video game.
Oh, damn. Who isn't a wrestler?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. What if they played a wrestler in a movie?
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
All right, let's go with Randy the Ram from The Wrestler.
I knew it.
Mickey Rourke.
Oh, that's all. We just watched it the other day. That's such an amazing movie.
I remember watching it in theater. Like, it was just like, it opened my eyes up because I had no idea of a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like during that time, so great movie, still holds up.
Oh yeah, I feel like. Go ahead.
Would you say, because there's very minimal wrestling movies?
Yeah.
But I mean, would you guys say that's the best one?
I mean, I like Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Like
Ready to Rumble, Beyond the Mat, it's just a classic too that you go kind of behind the scenes. What else? Yeah, there's not that many. Not Libre
at
too.
all. Oh, that's good. Yeah. But for sure, Ready to Rumble for sure.
But Ready to Rumble and Wrestler is so different. That's why it's like they're not even like like Ready to Rumble is more like comedy.
Yes.
But it's based on WCW, which is good. But yeah, they're both great though. It's hard to pick one.
But for sure, you could toss in Ready to Rumble and like, it's gonna be good because it's funny and all that. Yeah. Depending what mood you're in. If you want to see something serious and dark, then for sure the Wrestler.
Yeah, of course. For sure.
Man. And we just saw it the other day, and I was like you said, it was like halfway through the movie, and I'm like, oh, this is all the sad part where he's trying to date this girl, and his daughter doesn't want to see him, and his last match is coming up with his heart issues, and I'm like, ugh.
But the thing is also the heartbreaking thing is like when his daughter's like, all right, let's go have dinner, and then he doesn't show up because he partied,
Yeah, it's hard. Like even she said, you keep on constantly effing up. Like he's trying to be perfect in every single way, even now trying to get in a relationship outside of wrestling, do something different, and he still can't get his stuff together. It's just it's a tough one. In the last, like everyone's seen it now, that cliffhanger, like is he alive? Did he get the pin? Like, oh, such a cliffhanger.
Hopefully a sequel.
I know.
What would you like to have happened? You think he made it, or you think, because I know the director's like, no, you guys decide what you're ending.
Oh, he hits the finish, goes home, 1, 2, 3, maybe, and he's fine. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah.
I don't want him dying in the ring.
Exactly.
Exactly.
100%. I was watching the interview and Ricky work like, no, he's dead. I'm like, no, don't say that. Like, let him be happy for once and let him leave and go back and continue his life. Oh, awesome.
Well, once again, Skura, thank you so much for being on the pod, man. Really excited. Happy to have you on. First thing I wanted to get is, the beginning side of your career. So, like, tell us about it. Like, what, like, kind of got you into professional wrestling? Like, who introduced it for you for the first time?
No one really introduced me to. Oh, I want to say I have a cousin. I have an older brother, but when me and my older brother would go see our cousin, he had like the old Hasbro figures, you know, of like Warrior and whoever else. He had the video games on regular Nintendo, not Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo. And I think like it was him who like introduced us to it. And then from that time on, I think we were just watching it, you know, because it's crazy. Cause I'll watch stuff on the network or whatever, and like it's like early years, and I was like, I remember that, you know what I mean? Like when Papa Shango like did a curse on Warrior and he just started puking, you know, like I remember watching that, you know. I don't even know what year that was, but I know that was like maybe 92, 93, you know. So I was literally maybe like, you know, 4 years old, 5 years old or whatever, you know. I'm like, oh damn, like I remember that. So for sure my cousin. And then we had, during that era, we had like those illegal cable boxes. So we were able to watch like any pay-per-view, you know. And I want to say the one that made me like, it was WrestleMania 12 where the Iron Man match, you know, because I grew up a Shawn Michaels fan, you know what I mean? Like he was my Hogan, you know. But you know, that Iron Man match, and he finally won it. Like I remember I had like white long johns on, and I was like, oh, I want to put hearts on them, you know, or whatever like that, you know. But for sure, like that was the match that was like, I wouldn't say, oh, I want to be a professional wrestler, because I always loved it, you know. But I want to say that's the match like that I remember that stood out for me. I mean, that was 96, but I was already watching a lot of wrestling, you know, before that. But, you know, I want to say that's the one. And I never stopped, you know, after that, you know, like me and my brother, you know, during Nitro and like Raw, we would always be flipping back and forth, you know, after baseball practice or whatever, you know, coming back home, you know, just flipping whatever, you know. And for sure, like those were the early days, you know. I grew up in that good era, you know. I don't know, I mean, how old are you guys? You know, like, did you guys grow up in the 90s or like?
We're Ruthless Aggression.
Ruthless Aggression, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I figured, you know, but which is a great era too. You know, don't get me wrong, it's a great era as well. I want to say I did fall off like in 04, 05, but you know, I like after like but like very minimal. You know, very minimal. And then I just got back into it. I don't even know how. But the only thing I would watch was Raw. You know, I wouldn't really watch Friday Night SmackDown, you know, when it was like on Channel 5, I want to say, for a little bit, like the CW, you know, after it moved away from Channel 13 and stuff. But yeah, I want to say it was my cousin that got us into it. And then me and my brother were just we just never stopped. You know, he stopped, but like I never stopped, you know.
And being a fan, growing up as a fan, what was like your favorite like moment watching as a fan, or favorite match you can remember?
Oh man, well for sure, I wouldn't say the Iron Man was my favorite match, just because like that's a long match, you know what I mean? But you know, I look back and like, you know what, like watching all those in your house pay-per-views, like I just took a liking to him, you know, just because it had the little house set up, you know, whatever. Yeah. Like it gravitated to me for whatever reason, you know. And Shawn Michaels was on top, you know, and stuff like that. And I remember one of the main matches that, again in '96 SummerSlam, was Shawn Michaels versus Vader. And I remember our cable box, like something was like, you know, we had just moved, so like we had just replugged it in or whatever. And like I was struggling, like, or the feed was off or whatever like that, you know. But I want to say one of my favorite matches for whatever reason was like Shawn Michaels versus Vader. And even that same pay-per-view was Mankind versus Undertaker, when Paul Bearer turned on him. And like that stood out to me, you know, because that's all I knew was Paul Bearer and Undertaker, you know.
Absolutely. And when did like the time like come up to you, like when you decided like, you know what, like I want to be in the business, I want to become a professional wrestler?
Oh my God. I mean, I grew up I would say the cliche story is, oh, I always wanted to be a wrestler, which is true, is true. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's story starts off like that. But where do I go? You know, what do I do? I grew up in the Valley. I grew up in Chatsworth, you know, like I'm far from everything, you know. It wasn't so easy to do a Google search, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I want to say, okay, I wasn't the best in high school, you know, academically, all that stuff, right? So I want to say after high school and stuff, I did the whole community college for a little bit, whatever. And then I did criminal justice because I thought I wanted to be a cop. But like later on when I went to other like criminal justice, like how would you say? Because, you know, when you take a course or whatever like that, there's like intro, and then there's other random ones for that course, right? And then the later ones of like we're learning the laws or like, you know, court freaking cases or whatever like that. It bored me, you know. It bored me. I was like, this ain't what I want to do. You know what I mean? So around like 19 years old, I want to say I was going to join the Air Force. I just didn't have anything going for me. I thought that was going to be the right move. I went to go to one of those recruiting offices, talk to the Air Force people. I only the Air Force because my uncle, who's a Marine, told me always like that's the more like calmer one. It's like not easier, but you know what I mean, like calmer one compared to like Army or Marines, right? So my uncle, who just got back from deployment or whatever, was living in Murrieta. So I was like, hey, like prepare, because I was out of shape, I was fat, you know, all that stuff. I was like, hey, like prepare me for what am I gonna have to get into or whatever like that. So I lived with him. I'm gonna tell you this. We had planned that I was gonna stay with him for a while, right? Because he was gonna have to deploy again. And then I was living with him, waking up at freaking 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, just to go run. No easing into it, as bad shape as I was. No easing into it, just straight run and starving myself, eating salads and cereal, you know, throughout the day, you know. And like literally I stayed with him for like a week and I got homesick, you know, and I was only in Murrieta, which is not that far from like LA area, right? So what I thought to myself was like, I could only imagine if I got sent out to like North Carolina or wherever they send you. You know, it's just, they're not, you know, just because I'm a LA boy, it doesn't mean they're going to keep me in LA or whatever, you know, to do my boot camp or whatever. So I was like, yeah, that's not going to be for me. So I had a phone call with a friend when I was out there at my uncle's. And I was like, man, you know what? Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I think I should just kind of, because like with that whole running and stuff like that, within just a week, I had dropped weight, you know what I mean? Because like you could only imagine like being out of shape and then literally not eating what I'm used to eating, which is junk garbage, you know. I could see it already in my face, you know what I mean? So I was like, I want to pursue my wrestling, you know. I want to pursue my wrestling. I want to say I was maybe 20 at the time, okay? So what I decided was like I was going to come back to my home or whatever like that and just hit the gym and just kind of like work on my body, you know, and et cetera, until somehow I figure out a way, right? So let me see. I don't know if I was 21 or whatever. Okay, so long story short, I befriended I know him by his real name, but Luchasaurus. Went to that same gym that I was working out at Powerhouse in Chatsworth, right? I noticed his tattoos were like very similar to Jeff Hardy's and Edge, and like then I would see him wear wrestling shirts, and I would wear wrestling shirts. So I befriended him or whatever. We became cool. We became friends, and during that time, I want to say he was about to start his training with Rick Drayson in Sherman Oaks, I believe, right? He told me, come try it out or whatever like that. I never did just because I didn't know who Rick Drayson was, and I was still kind of figuring out things on my own. So whatever, long story short, he starts his training. He has his first match in Newhall. Okay. He didn't tell me against who, but he did invite me. For some reason, I couldn't make it that time. And then later on, I was friends with him on Facebook and stuff like that. I saw who he wrestled, right? And or I think he had told me, oh, I'm wrestling some guy named Joey Chaos, right? And then the Chaos part stuck to me because I was like, Chaos, like, because I grew up watching XPW too, Saturday nights on basic LA cable or whatever it was, right? So I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, Chaos was Chaos. He's not Joey Chaos. You know what I mean? But then when I saw the pictures that he was tagged in, it was Chaos. I was like, oh, damn, like, let me know when the next one is. So he invited me to the next one again in Newhall. I went. What's it called? Grabbed a flyer of Santino's, But it's funny is because every time I would go to a Staples Center show, they would always be flyering. But I think this was when they were in Norwalk. I didn't know where Norwalk was, whatever like that, But when they had moved to Bell Gardens, I was like, oh, I know where Bell Gardens is, because of like my line of work, I drive around a lot. So I was like, oh, that's not bad, So, and then whatever, I saw a bunch of people there at that Newhall show, like Tito starting out hitting a 450, and he was a big dude hitting a 450. I was like, so Tito stood out. I remember seeing Bateman there with Ryan Kidd. This was like Kidd when he was like tiny, skinny, not anymore, but just a bunch of them, that who I'm close friends with now, like Rico, Chaos, so I remember, I think I added Joey on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. And I was like, hey, man, like I grew up watching you. It was so awesome. Pretty much I was marking, out, when I messaged him, whatever. So then I followed him. I followed, I think the Santino school or maybe just him. Right. And then I remember like, when was it? Like maybe February or March, where like they had posted of like, oh, new beginners course starting in June 2011, right? And then I was like, oh, and like whatever, the price was whatever. I don't remember the pricing, but I was like, oh man, like this is, I have to try it. I have to try it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I have to. This is it. I know where Bell Gardens is. I know all that. So in April, I remember April, I came down to pay in advance, just to check out the school too, just to see what's up, all that. I paid in advance in April, and because my sessions weren't going to start till freaking June. Okay. So June 2011, a month before my birthday in July. So I turned 23 that year in July. So I started in June 2011. I was still 22 a month before, right? So June 2011 is when I started training there at Santino's, and literally still going, you know what I mean? And it was a big class. That's where I met, Hoss Hogg before he became Hoss Hogg. He was like 15 years old, 15 years old, and I'm 22. And it was a big class. Like everyone was like in good shape, decent shape, a few who weren't, whatever, like that. But I don't remember how many people it was, but it ended up only being me and Haas, that stuck around. And like, it was always me and him literally just beating each other up, getting beat up, not bad, obviously, but like getting beat up, beating each other up, or whatever, just working with each other, and then I remember in literally June, and I would go to as many classes as I could, I think they were doing daily, and I would maybe do 3 to 4 times a week, and I was living in Simi Valley, you know. So the commute wasn't crazy compared to like a Ray Rosas who used to live like in Lancaster, who would drive all the way to Norwalk. You know what I mean?
Oh.
But it wasn't local for me. You know what I mean? But I would do that because I wanted it. You know, I wanted it. I wanted to do it. I wanted to see if I was capable of doing it, you know, and, you know, looking back, you know, and comparing to now, I think I'm still, I would say I'm kind of capable, you know? So, but yeah, so in June 2011, and then literally October 2011, what is that, like 4 months, you know, 3.5 months is we had our first freaking match, you know, literally, because we were like training so much with each other, you know, we had the concept because we would literally get one-on-one training, you know, with each other and like whoever was coaching us, you know, because we were putting in so much ring work, you know. I know it takes people sometimes now close to a year, maybe more than a year sometimes, you know. So I was like glad, thankful that, you know, I was able to, I mean, not surpass. I think they just threw us out there just to see what we would do, you know. Now, looking back at that match, I hate looking at it. Obviously, I hate watching it, you know, but it was what it was, you know, but it wasn't like, I've seen worse, you know. So, you know, like that. And it's funny because literally that Saturday and then the week after on Sunday, we were going to do a Huntington Park festival show. And I trained that Saturday the day before, and we were practicing drop kicks or something like that. And, you know, they would tell us, oh, just throw your hands up, you know, just in case, you know, it's, you know, just to protect yourself. So Haas Hog was going to give me a drop kick. And like, literally, he didn't even get up here. Okay. But as my hand, like his drop kick was like literally coming to my stomach. Right. But I was throwing my hands up and like my hand clipped his freaking foot or something like that. And I heard something, you know, I heard something. I thought, oh, I just jammed it, you know, whatever. But what I heard was a snap, but I just thought maybe a crack, right? Like, oh, I just jammed it, whatever. So whatever, I was done. The next day I still wrestled, whatever. I just wrapped my hand, you know, I had a match and then we did a battle royal. And it's funny, I worked that same night too. We were doing pressure washing. So, you know, I had a freaking press the freaking nozzle thingy, whatever, the trigger, and then whatever. And it was all swollen, whatever. My mom saw it on Monday. She goes, oh, that's broken. You know, I was like, nah, I'm fine, you know, whatever. And then the next day, I think Tuesday, I went to go train, right? And then, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do like any little roll I tried to do. I was like, I couldn't. And like Chaos saw it. He goes, oh, that's broken. I was like, yeah, I think you're right. You know, I didn't take my mom's advice, you know, but I took his, you know, because, you know, yeah, moms know best, but you don't want to hear that something's broken. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
That's honestly why, like, I've messed up my knee like so many times in wrestling where I just like ice it, wrap it, work around it. You know what I mean? Because like I have insurance and stuff like that, but like I know I'm gonna hear something I don't want to hear. Like you need to take time off or whatever like that. Even if they do tell me that I'm not, you know, I'll just work around it. You know what I mean? You know, and stuff like that. So I ended up having surgery and getting a plate put in my hand. So literally that was still in October 2011, but I came back like maybe like early January, you know, start training again, you know, and stuff like that. And then, you know, like later mid-January is when I started kind of taking minimal bookings, you know, where I was able to, or like Ray or like Tito or like, you know, other people who would vouch for me were like getting me on shows, you know, and stuff like that. So that's how it started. I met Luchasaurus. I saw he wrestled Chaos, freaking added Chaos. The whole beginner course came up. And like, you know, of course, I didn't want to let 10 years pass. I'm in my 30s and be like, you know what I mean? Like I should have done it. At 22, young still, you know, it's like if I could, it's now or never. I want to see if I'm able to do it. If not, I gave it a shot, You know what I mean? If yeah, cool. I mean, I'm still here, you know?
Mm-hmm. And learning from Chaos, you know, and you know, learning from him, what was like the best advice that he gave you about wrestling, about the business?
Oh, the best advice. I mean, the usual advice is literally, you know, mouth shut, ears open. You know what I mean? When the people who have way more years are successful, you know, and stuff like that. Also, pretty much one of the main things is like, don't trust anyone, you know, and stuff like that. Literally, he would even say, don't trust me, what I'm telling you right now. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Just because, you know, I want to say things have changed, but then again, it's like people are always going to look out for themselves. You know what I mean? Because it's that type of business, and like, it's not a team sport. You know what I mean? It's not a team sport. You know what I mean? If you're in a tag team, yeah, for sure. You know, and stuff like that. But you know, it's just like that. It's just like mouth shut, ears open. Never stop learning. You know, train with as many people as you can, like different places. You know, like I train at Santino's. I go to, you know, Millennium Pro Wrestling out here in Chatsworth because it's 10 minutes for me. You know, it's just if I want some ring work, you know, because the Divine Brothers are like, they got a good thing going on over there. You know what I mean? And like, I love it that it's so close, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And tell me about like, when was the first time you met Bad Dude Tito? And when did the Wolf Zaddies form? When did the tag team partnership form?
Well, okay. So Tito, I met literally like within my first week at Santino's, right? Like it was open ring, whatever, and stuff like that. And like I said, I saw him at that Newhall show doing the 450, you know, and stuff like that. And like he was doing his single stuff, Rico was doing his single stuff. I was just literally just starting out. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but it was Rico and Tito who were the original team, you know, Los Bandidos, you know, and stuff like that. And they were like my favorite team, you know what I mean? Because I was doing my own thing, you know. And then like down the road, you know, I got together with like Sasha Derevko and like Fidel Bravo, and like we were doing our whole revolution thing, you know. But what's funny is like later down the years or whatever, I was always the third guy for Tito and Rico. Like it was always us three. You know, if we were doing a 6-man, I was always put in that third, you know, just because like I want to say we, not that we feed off each other, but like we go together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we go together. Like it's like three big Latin dudes, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So it works out because, and like nowadays it could either be, because me and Rico still tag, you know, at Santino's or anywhere else, you know, at some lucha shows in Santa Ana, you know. So they were the original team. I was doing my own thing. But then when I started traveling to Vegas, doing my thing over there at FSW, Tito hit Joe up and said that we would tag, you know what I mean? Which I think we might have tagged like at some random shows before, but I don't even think we had a name yet, you know? I don't think we had a name, but whatever. We were tagging mostly in Vegas, and like, I don't know how, but like we were known as Los Pistoleros out there. Don't ask me, you know, I don't know why we were referring to ourselves like that or whatever, right? So we were doing that for years out there, you know, and then whatever. Then I was gonna take a break eventually. I don't remember what year, but like they told me not to, like Rico, Ray, Tito were like, no, you know, because we were about to start that whole hate thing. I don't know if you guys remember that, you know, the whole hate faction, you know. So I was like, all right, we'll see what happens. Whatever, right? I'll do it just because you guys are telling me, right? So we started doing the hate thing, but during that time, like when we did the whole run-in angle at UEW and all that, and then we were gonna have finally like a Survivor Series type match, right? There, I was like, I want to do something different. I want to do something different. Like that whole Che Guevara thing, like that's not me. That's not me. You know what I mean? As a person. So I don't remember how or what, but I remember Yuma referred to something as like Latino meat, right? He referred something as that. I was like, oh, I like that, So whatever, right? So I took that and I was like, you know what? I want to cut my hair. So I did the whole mullet thing, exactly like freaking Eddie Guerrero. So then that's when I started doing the whole Latino meat thing, was when we started the hate angle. So that's it, right? I started doing that. We started doing that. But when we were hate, literally, we were all like tagging with each other. It was like me and Pinky, Tyler Bateman and Pinky, Peter and me, or like me and Ray, Rico and Tito, Tito and me, Rico and me. We were all able to whatever. We were a whole big faction, right? So after hate broke off or whatever like that, me, Tito, and Rico, we stayed together. We stuck together. Whatever. Me and Tito started doing. We started tagging more. At like EWF, SoCal Pro, Fist Combat. When that was a thing, and then it's funny is because when we were tagging, even when we would go back to Vegas, we were just known as hate, which was fine, but it's cool when there's like a huge faction. As a tag team or whatever, I don't think it really worked. So one time we were on our way to San Diego, and I remember it was me, Tito, and Royce Isaacs from West Coast Wrecking Crew. So during that time, I was calling everyone Zaddy, like, oh, hey, Zaddy, what's up? Or how you doing, Zaddy? Whatever, right? And then I was thinking like, like, I really want to use Zaddy in something before somebody else does and just runs off with it. You know what I mean? And stuff. So like, whatever. But I was like, could we just be the Zaddies, or like, do we need something in front? Right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So I don't know how it came about. Petito was like, what about Wolf Zaddies? I was like, why wolves? And then I'm gonna get onto the whole, okay. So like in the whole LGBTQ community, bigger guys who are hairy are known as like bears, or whatever like that. And then I guess we're not hairy, we're not hairy like that. Like, I wish I was like Scott Hall, like, I had a nice chest piece, all that. But Wolf is, I guess, a leaner version, like leaner, like more in shape, and stuff like that, and not crazy hairy. So we went with Wolf, we went with Wolf Zaddies, and we announced it that day, and then we just never looked back, and it's funny, and like, but people don't ask us really where the wolf comes from. I just think they just think, oh, cool, it's a cool animal, wolf pack or whatever, whatever. But they do ask us like, oh, what is a Zaddy? You know what I mean? But it's literally just, I mean, there's no real definition to it, but it's just like a sexy daddy, I guess you want to say, because in reality, anyone can be a daddy. You know what I mean? Anyone can. It doesn't take, a specimen to be a dad or a daddy. You know what I mean? Anyone can get lucky. You know what I mean? But Zaddy, it takes work. So you get that you get that Z.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I love the name. I remember like the first time, I think Rich and I were first time watching you guys was at an EWF show. and this is when you guys were going for the championships. And I think Rico was heavyweight champion at the time, but
he was either heavyweight or US, or American champion,
And I remember watching you guys coming out, and I was just like, wow, like, these guys were really cool. The name stuck with me. And I remember your trunks had Latino meat, and I was like, oh shit, like that got my attention. I was like, oh, nice. But just watching you guys and just the way you guys from that time and all the way to now where you guys progress, I mean, it's exciting to watch you guys. And when you look back and you guys, what you've done, what's like your favorite moment or favorite match that you guys had?
Damn, you know what? I want to say, looking back from like the early days, I want to say when we finally got to debut for Bar, it was at the what was it called? I think it was called Mach 1. It was the Mach 1 tribute show for like John Ian and all that. We had like freaking I forgot how many tag teams it was, but it was like Los Luchas, Rockness Monsters.
Oh, we were there for that. I think
yeah.
I remember that.
So that was our debut, right? At the Glass House. It was the only show that ran at the Glass House.
We were there for that. The main event. It was the main event.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Like, fuck. We're like, I didn't even think that was gonna be the main. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just seeing like the crowd, because that shit was packed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Bar had such a great following already at that point, and we finally got hit up, right? So I want to say that one. And then when we did another show for Bar, which was literally the last show done before the shutdown. I forgot, it was at the Bootleg Theater where we worked Rockness. And I want to say before pandemic, for sure, those two were like, for sure, like my favorite ones, just because the atmosphere, we were finally, getting the recognition and all that, being on the bigger shows and stuff like that. And for sure, it's a shame because right during that time, it's like, oh man, we're about, I feel it, like we're about to, break out or whatever, and then boom, shut down,
Oh yeah, and especially when you think back, with especially what you guys have been doing, and it's like when we see you guys just have great chemistry, great teamwork, and if there's a team out there that's looking to get into being a tag team, what advice would you give to someone to become a tag team like you guys?
I mean, me and Tito, we talk daily, like every minute, like it's we're pretty much a couple, you know what I mean? We're pretty much a couple. We have too many similarities. You know what I mean? Like as far as like sports fans, toy collectors, gym goers, stuff like that. I would just say like try to find. I'm not saying you guys have to be the same exact person because sometimes even like opposites like work. But I would say like like you better trust this guy, with your life. You know what I mean? With your life. And like, Tito's not only my tag partner, that's my best friend right there. You know what I mean? Like that's my brother right there. You know what I mean? Like non-blood, but that's my brother right there. We've traveled so much together, and like we've gone through our ups and downs together. When we're down, like I want to say, I've been in so many funks, and like he was always there for me, you know what I mean? Checking in on me, stuff like that, I want to say, okay, so I'll give you a quick rundown of like 2021 October, literally like a year ago, was like the first show of Raise the Bar, right? In Pomona as well. Before that, Tito never stopped wrestling, right? Like post-COVID, right? Like when kind of things were kind of opening back up a little bit, whatever, he was still doing, random shots, like whoever was running, like, and he was booked, he was doing them. I didn't tell him like, hey, wait for me. You know what I mean? I was like, no, bro, you go do whatever. Like if I come back, I come back. You know what I mean? So like during that time or whatever, I went and like got a second job at like a supplement store. because like, I thought like that's what I wanted to do again, like get back into the supplement industry or whatever like that. Cause I love supplements. I love what they do to the body and stuff like that, or like what ingredient does what and stuff like that. But when I was working there, it was literally a 9 to 5, and then I was coming home, just whatever, tired and like, but I wasn't hitting the gym during that time, like, cause wrestling wasn't on my mind. And then I forgot when it was, I think in August, where like Tito hit me up where he was like, hey, Yuma wants to use this for the Raise the Bar debut show or whatever like that, against Rockman sponsors, And like I had already just quit the supplement store like in August. And I was like, cool, like I'm gonna get back on it, whatever, do what I gotta do, and like, so like literally October 21, was like my first show back, and like literally, because my last show before was like October 2020, where like we did prime time and then we did a random show at Jim Logan's studio. I know it's on YouTube somewhere, but it was literally when we tagged against West Coast Wrecking Crew. It was their first show as West Coast Wrecking Crew. It's funny because are you familiar with who they were before in Vegas? The 1%?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we were literally their last match as the 1%, because that's when Royce was doing the whole NWA thing.
Yeah.
And then, so we did that. And then literally when I guess his contract was up with NWA or whatever like that, we had their first match as like West Coast Wrecking Crew. So I thought that was pretty funny or whatever, you know what I mean? Storybook stuff, movie stuff. So October 2020 was my last match till like literally I took the whole year dealing with whatever I was dealing with, and then trying to think of another job, thinking that it was not another dream, but just another thing, that I was passionate about, but it just didn't work out for me, just because it's not. So then when Tito told me that, I was like, cool, October 21, let's do it. And then pretty much since October 21 till, well, what are we now? Like November 2021, or sorry, 22, literally, I haven't looked back since, again.
Mm-hmm. And also now, even recently, even your singles career, you have the belt right there,
Yes, I do. Yes, I did.
Training from there, from day one, starting your training out there, now being the champion. What does that mean for your career? Tell me the experience, like winning that.
Well, okay. So like, this is my second time holding this title. Mm-hmm. Okay. I held it early. I was like I was the third person in general to win this. So like, but it's I want to say it makes even a better story for me now, because like I took that whole time off dealing with my shit, going through my stuff, whatever, trying to find another passion, not working out, Tito, not that he had to convince me, but he was like, let's just do it. I was like, cool, let's do it. And then obviously I have that tag match, which also included PP Ray, because they ended up getting put in. I was like, cool. Like two of my favorite tag teams to ever work, against, and so come on, you have so much fun doing that. It's just like, wow, like I missed the fuck out of this. You know what I mean? Like this is, and stuff like that. So, and then Santino's was running still, all that stuff. So to come where we're at now, well, the reason why I even had a shot at this was because Slice Boogie ended up getting hurt. It was good. He ended up winning the title against Ray, and then Chaos won the Rumble, to face Boogie at the next show, which was Legends Never Die. And then, so Boogie obviously had to vacate it. So the decision was the last two in the Rumble, which was me and Chaos, to have a one-on-one for the title. And So it also means a lot more to me because, you know, I ended up beating my trainer, one of my mentors, you know, for the title, you know, and for the newer title, you know, the white strap, all that, it looks all nice, you know, all that. So for me, it was a bigger deal, you know, just with the whole backstory to it, you know, that not a lot of people know, you know, but, you know, just like my close ones, and now everybody who's going to watch this, you know what I mean? Like dealing with my shit, all that, to come to now this, holding this, you know, it's a big deal to me, you know, because like a year ago or a year and a half ago, it's just like wrestling wasn't really, you know, missed from my life, you know? So.
And absolutely. And then also, you know, going from there and also like, you know, having a match with Rosas, which was like a death match. Take me back.
Yes.
What was it like having that match and having a death match?
Well, you know what? It's not that I never thought I would do a death match, because I want to say that was always on my bucket list, you know, in wrestling. But I wanted it to like to mean something, you know what I mean? Like not just to have one, you know what I mean? But like, you know, like story wise, you know, it could go either way. Like, did it make sense? Sure. Did it not make sense? Whatever. But personal life, yeah, for sure. Because like Ray was, you know, one of the first wrestlers to, you know, bring me up, take me places, and all that stuff. You know, so if there was any other person, there's a very small amount of people that like I would like have a death match with. You know what I mean? Like, you know, personal wise, you know. How did I prepare for it? I mean, I really didn't. You know, I just knew, okay, what are the fans gonna bring? You know what I mean? Because it was a fans bring the weapons. You know, there was some cool stuff. You know, there was some dumb stuff that like, yeah, I'm not gonna use that. You know what I mean? But you know, all in all, just rewatching it back and like, you know, it was awesome. You know, it was everything I imagined it to be. You know, painful. You know, just take a lot out of you. Surprisingly, the next day I woke up like nothing. You know, I was fine. You know, but it's funny because then Monday and Tuesday is when it hit me. You know what I mean? It's like when you go to the gym, you don't feel it the next day, you feel it the second and the third day. You know what I mean? So, but like, it was awesome, you know, and like with Ray, one of the people that I trust the most in the ring, you know, like I can't ask for a better, you know, opponent.
Absolutely. And especially now, you know, if you're, you know, with your career being champion, being Santino's champion, and also kind of opening up new opportunities for you. I mean, even like, you know, with New Japan Pro Wrestling, you know, do stuff for them for Strong. Take me back. You know, how did that ball kind of start rolling for you for New Japan?
Okay, so Tito was already doing New Japan Strong. You know, he was having his singles matches or whatever. So there was a seminar, a Rocky Romero seminar, right? I've known Rocky forever. I've known Rocky since like my early days, whatever. I've done 2 seminars of his already at like the Santino Dojo, right? So I was like, okay, I got to show face. You know, I got to show face. It's been a while, whatever. So I did the seminar. I talked to him or whatever. He said, oh, send me some stuff. Send me some recent stuff. You know, I emailed him or whatever. I don't know. I honestly don't know if he ever saw them. You know, because I never got a reply on the email or anything like that. But then I actually, so funny thing is Tito was, he had just started his how do you say, his tour in Japan, or like he was already, right? And me thinking in my head, like, damn, this is going to suck. Cause like, what do I have? I really didn't have many things lined up. You know what I mean? I really didn't have much stuff lined up, like coming up. So I was like thinking in my head, like, damn, like I'm just kind of like half-assed it, I guess. Like maybe I'll hit the gym here and there, eat right. You know, like I just didn't have that. But then I got hit up for a certain date for New Japan Strong for my debut, right? And I was like, hell yeah, this is exactly what I need, because I need that. Sometimes I need that motivation. Like, I need to get ready for this. I need to look my best. I need to show them like they didn't mess up by booking me or whatever like that, and stuff like that. So like, it's what I wanted. It's what I wanted. It's what I wanted. Like, to get hit up, and then like, then I did that show, my first show. I forgot what month it was, but I worked Aaron Solo. Cool, good match. I had my white singlet made just because I wanted to stand out, whatever and stuff like that. Then I got hit up to do Vegas, and I was supposed to work originally Kevin Knight, who's one of their young lions, right? But I want to say that show, Eddie Kingston got sick and COVID, and then somebody else got called off for like personal reasons or whatever, right? So my match got changed, and so did his. So he ended up working Davari. I forgot his first name, but the younger brother, not Sean Davari, but the younger brother. And then I ended up working Doc Gallows, So I was like, oh wow, like, just to be, because he's a name there, he's a name in Japan, he's a name in New Japan in general, So I want to say that opportunity or that situation like kind of worked in my favor, And then this last time I worked Kenny King, who I've known forever as well, from going back and forth to Vegas for so many years, to finally getting to work him and like just having an awesome match, So, it was just an awesome situation. Like, I'm just waiting for more. I want more there. You know what I mean? I want to go to Japan. You know what I mean? I want to do stuff out there. Like I'll be honest with you. Realistically, like I would love to tag with Tito there. You know what I mean?
Was gonna say,
I would love to have Wolf Zaddies there. But like I can't. That's my boy. That's my brother. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh hey, tell him this, tell him that. Like nah. Like he's put in his situation there. He's put in that position with TMDK, whatever, and that's working for him. You know what I mean? So like if they want me in something else, that's fine. I'll make it work too. You know what I mean? Like of course the dream. Let's be our tag team there or whatever. But if we're like in the same company and we're both like feeding, eating, making money, then like in reality, like everyone wins. You know what I mean? Like that's my boy since day one. If he's making money, getting paid, and I'm making money, getting paid, and we're not a team, but we're still having a good time and we're still getting to see each other, then that's what it's about.
I love that, man, because when you hear things, a lot of wrestlers can be, a lot of ego, a lot of selfishness, but for you love him so much that you want what's best for him, and you just want what's best, and for success for him.
Tito's been doing it for so long, where it's like finally, like he's getting a big break. You know what I mean? Something like we've all known already about him. Like, you know what I mean? It's just finally like the world's getting to see. And I'm not gonna hate on that. You know what I mean? It's like this dude has been doing this way longer than me. You know what I mean? And like with that being said, like I know my time's gonna come. I can't be like, oh, that should be me, because no, it shouldn't be. That's him. Something else will be me.
And especially doing previous matches for Strong. Is the goal for you to kind of be there permanently for New Japan, or is your mind kind of open for different other things?
What do you mean other things?
Like other promotions, maybe doing other stuff for them, or is New Japan the goal for now?
Well, right now, obviously, New Japan's the bigger promotion that I work for. You know what I mean? That I've done shows for. Because like when I started wrestling training, WWE. That's all I thought. Right. And in 2015, I had a tryout in Orlando. This was like when Bill DeMott was doing the stuff. This was before Matt Bloom. You know what I mean? And like whatever, I got that email. Oh, nothing at the moment for you. Blah blah blah. Keep doing it. I would talk to Regal here and there. Like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And like, it's very. That's one of the things that hit me hard You know what I mean? Like, damn, like, you know, it just hits you. Not that I have an ego or anything, but it fucks with you, you know? So like, but like fast forward to now, it's like cool, WWE's there. Do I want to be there? I mean, would they even want me at my age? You know what I mean? If they would, cool. But like, you got AEW, you got New Japan, you got MLW, you know, you got other places, you know, other NWA, you know what I mean? Like, you got other places that are signing people, you know, paying them, you know, a good amount, you know, and stuff like that. But like, do I want to be in like New Japan, you know, Strong and in Japan? For sure, 100%. You know, like when I'm in that locker room and stuff like that and seeing a lot of people that I know already, you know, it's just a good time. It's a good vibe. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, I'm just here to have a good time, you know what I mean? And make money, you know?
Absolutely.
You know?
For sure. And you know, and you know, even like talking about New Japan, what for the future, what names are in your list? Like, who would you like to face and have matches with in the ring?
Oh man, that's hard, man. That's hard. There's so many. I want to say, like, there's so many good people there. You know what I mean? There's so many good people there. You know, but obviously, like, look at Tito. He got to work freaking Okada, Tanahashi. He's gonna work Kenta, you know, on Sunday. You know what I mean? So like, if like they were to trust me as well with like their stars, you know, and stuff like that, or like Naito, you know, and stuff like that. Just like everybody, man, like everybody who's a name, you know, even for like the Americans, like, you know, like I want to say, like TJ Perkins is somebody who I never got to work with in general during my career here in SoCal or whatever, but like if I were to able to work him there at New Japan Strong, like that would be awesome for me. You know what I mean? Just because I've known him forever, you know, and so on. Same with Bateman. I've worked Bateman so many times, but he does the Strong too. And like, I think, you know, just him being a good friend of mine, you know, like that would be awesome too, you know?
Absolutely. And you know, I'm fingers crossed, man. I'm hoping you do more things for New Japan, because I think you would be, you know, so great. And also, I mean, obviously, I'd love to see you and Tito together. I think it would be so great to see you guys together. But you know what? You know, if you do some things with singles, I think it would be great. You know, and again, Che Cabrera, thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. I really appreciate you taking the time.
No, of course,
man.
Of course.
Very excited to have you on. And
yeah,
you know, if to finish off the last question, if someone is watching this and you know wants to, you know, have a dream in becoming a wrestler, what advice would you give to someone that wants to be in this business?
Okay, I want to say this advice should everyone should take, but it's just not incorporated anymore. I want to say, like, first of all, like, your physicality, like it's a big part of it. You know what I mean? You know, it's very physical. It's very physical. You don't have to be an athlete like that. Like, you didn't have to be freaking varsity football team, high school, you know, college offers or anything like that, you know? But if you're able to do like the basic roles and stuff like that, and like so on, and your conditioning and all that, and like, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. But like your body has a lot to do with, you know, your image, you know, and stuff like that. How do you want people to see you? You know what I mean? If you do, you want to put like first impressions matter, you know? So I would suggest like before, maybe like you could look into starting training and all that, but I would say like look into it, know that it's very physically demanding. So like, you know, if you're not a gym goer, I would say start somehow. You know, I'm not saying you have to look like Brian Cage or anything like that, but if you're able to like lift a few weights and like, you know, do some good cardio and stuff like that, you'd be a little bit prepared, you know, because body would be like, okay, you already got like one of the first steps, you know, then the ring stuff, then the whole gimmick persona stuff and like that. But also one of the main things is, which I want to say a lot of people lack nowadays, is you got to have thick skin. You got to have thick skin. A lot of people are going to say stuff. Negative, positive, or whatever, like that. It's cleaned up a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's cleaned up a lot. But like sometimes people are very, I don't want to say sensitive, but people don't want to hear that, oh, that wasn't good, do it again. Or like, you know what I mean? Or like, oh, that match was all right, this needed this. You know what I mean? Like people can't take advice anymore because they build all this stuff in their head and stuff like that. And like I said, closed mouths, like ears open, even if you take the advice or even if you don't, you know what I mean? Just be respectful and like have that thick skin, because you're going to hear stuff that maybe you never heard before, then somebody just never had the guts to tell you, and stuff like that. But going back to what you said about the whole, as much as you would want me and Tito to be tagging in New Japan and stuff like that, like here's the thing with us, where like it's like as a tag team, oh, we love it. You know what I mean? We love it. Like we're different, from our singles and stuff like that, because we're having fun, we're being ourselves and stuff like that. But then again, it's like us as singles, we're different as well. And like if you want us together, awesome. But if you want us like as a singles, then even cooler. You know what I mean? Because we could bring it, regardless. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to say about that.
No, man, absolutely, man. And again, thank you so much for being on, man. Such an honor to have you on. We were watching you from, Knights of Columbus Hall in Covina, and from there, now what your career's been doing, man. I'm, so happy for your success, and I know big things are gonna come for you, man. And just happy to have you on, man. It's such an honor.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for reaching out, and like I had a good time doing this.
Oh, absolutely, man. And for us too. And before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to plug in? Any bookings coming up, or anything for social media for the fans can find you?
Well, first of all, when will this come out?
Next Friday.
Okay, so next Friday. So whatever I have this Saturday doesn't matter, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So my social medias, which is on Instagram and Twitter, it's Che Cabrera _. So my name _ the last thing. So as far as shows go, next Saturday or next Friday would be what? The 25th?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's Thanksgiving week next week. Yeah, that's true. So I won't have anything till the December 3rd and 4th, which I'm actually doing a tamale festival in Indio for the 3rd and 4th. So, I mean, that's more of a festival show, whatever. But if you're looking for tamales, to try different tamales and stuff, there you go. December 9th, I got NPW. December 11th, I got New Japan, Strong. Yes. And then December 15th, we got Santino's, which is a Thursday. We're doing the last Santino show of the year on December 15th at the Santino Dojo. December 18th, I got New Tradition Lucha Libre in Palmdale, California. And then December 30th, I also have NPW, which is a Friday. And then I got a few January dates as well. So January 27th, I got Winter Circle Pro Wrestling, which is in Chino, where do you guys stay at?
Rancho Cucamonga. So it's right there, yeah.
Okay, so Chino's right there, right?
Yeah.
Like close, right? Okay. Would you guys go to IWL shows back in the day too?
No, we went mostly to like
pretty much.
EWF, AWS, to those shows, yeah.
Okay. So January 27th, that's Winter Circle Pro Wrestling. If it's right there, I expect to see you guys.
Yeah,
and then January 28th, Rival Pro Wrestling, which is a Saturday. You got Winter Circle Friday and then Rival Saturday. So
nice.
That's it for now.
Awesome. And Mason will put down the description down below where you can find all his social medias, all his bookings. And I recommend please support this man because I know, he's doing a lot of big things, especially for a lot of companies in New Japan. So definitely look him up. And again, Mr. Cabrera, thank you so much for being on, and honor to have you on. And thank you so much. And also to the listeners and watchers out there, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And we will see you guys next time here at Championship Online Podcast.